Marion Island and its smaller brother Prince Edward Island are in the sub-Antarctic Ocean, almost halfway to Antarctica. These undisturbed lands give refuge to large numbers of animals, and researchers can study them in an unaltered environment. The Marion Island Marine Mammal Program has been running for over 30 years and added an additional focus to the program in 2006. Killer whales.
People have always been interested in killer whales at Marion Island, but there was actually very little work done on them until about 2006, where we started compiling what we call a photo ID catalogue, so we could start getting an idea of which killer whales are there at what time of year and basically follow individuals through their lives.
In essence, this is also a mock recapture study, and it's all based on sightings of these large mammals. All killer whales have unique markings and scratches on their dorsal fins and saddle patches. By taking photographs of the dorsal fins, whalers can determine how many members are in the groups, how many new calves there are, and how they affect the seal and penguin populations around Marion.
And then for my PhD, we followed on that kind of bigger picture with more specific things like actually what do the killer whales there eat, where do they go when they're not at Marion Island, because they're not always at the island, and just all the time adding smaller pieces to this bigger puzzle.
The population around Marion consists of one or a few related big matriarchs and about 45 other members broken up into smaller groups that tend to stay close to one another within their larger social structure. Globally, killer whales are relatively free to roam wherever they want. But what makes them interesting is that they seldom leave their own broader populations. One idea suggests this is because each population has a preferred food source. Each member thus learns the skill to hunt only that type of food, and this skill makes them stick together. For example, in other parts of the world, not all killer whale populations feed on the same prey. In the North Pacific, some groups will specialize in salmon-type fish, while others, in the very same vicinity, will only hunt marine mammals and nothing else. But the Marion killer whales don't seem to specialize like others. They eat fish, hunt seals and penguins, and even include squid in their diet. One possible reason for this is the seasonal migration of the penguins and seals that makes marine mammals more abundant as a food source in summer. The whales must then alter their diets during the winter months. It's mysteries such as these and a host of others that the researchers are trying to solve.
There's this quote I really like, which is the larger the spotlight, the larger the circumference of the unknown. So as you find things out, you realize how many more questions there are. and that leads to a lot of further work. And at Marion Island, that's really the case. As you get to know a small piece of the system, you just realize that there's so much more you need to know or would like to know about the place.
But it's not just these specific species in which the researchers are interested. Being isolated in the sub-Antarctic waters, Marion and Prince Edward Islands have much simpler ecosystems than mainland systems, as there are far fewer species in these food webs. This means they react immediately to the slightest changes in the environment, and that is ultimately the interest of the researchers. Due to this sensitivity, these islands act as early warning systems and predict what will happen on the more complex mainland systems, the places we call home. But change is already happening, brought about by our own activities, far away from Marion Island.
We should move away from viewing an environment as part of the space that we live in, but rather view the Earth as interconnected ecosystem which get affected by our day-to-day activities. For example, climate change is quite an issue and has been felt and seen in Marion Island and also its surrounding waters.
But the more we learn, the better we can manage negative change. So scientists continue their work on this rugged and enigmatic island. All the researchers who have had the privilege of visiting this faraway place have also experienced change within themselves.
It's because it's a simple life. This is nature as intended. There is no person's house up on a hill or power lines or roads or cars. You walk everywhere you need to go. The simple things in life matter. Eat, sleep, and get your work done.
Die tipe werk en in die omstandighede wat ons het gedoen het jou geleer dat jy hoef nooit weer bang te wees vir enige fisiese werk nie. Want mens kan baie meer doen as wat jy ooit gedink het jy kan. Jy klim berge, gaan doen jou werk, klim om terug. In ongelooflike slegte weer, jy weet, en die werk moet gedoen word. So jy leer hoe om net jou kop neer te sit en die werk te doen.
It sort of develop you if you have the right attitude. I was some sort of an introvert, but back then, you know, the team that I was with, you know, reached out for me and made me what I am today. Today I can, you know, talk to people, make jokes about anything and never get offended.
Also, you feel free. You can walk and you can stop when you want to stop and take a photo and look at things. Experience the wind, listen to a bird, and the freedom and the peace associated with that, which is just the natural cycle going through year after year. You have the chance to actually observe nature doing its thing.
Get to know a place very intimately through its annual cycle. So you see Marion in her quiet time when there's not much happening, it's cold, the days are very short, but then a few months later you get to see her in her summer dress when there's just millions of animals and so many things happening, seal pups being born, penguin chicks. It just becomes this buzzing island in the sea.
En skielik het jy kleintjies oral. En dis net geluide en ma's wat hulle kleintjies roep en jy weet daar's net soveel lewe. Dis regtig aanvoelbaar as jy op die eiland is. En dit is so mooi om te sien hoe lief die diere eintlik vir mekaar is. Jy weet, daar's bande daar en hulle sorg vir mekaar.
Miss the clean air, like the smell of the place, the feeling of the wind, even though it gets super annoying. I miss that a lot. It's just this Marion-ness that you miss.
To keep going for 13 months in that sort of weather, doing the challenging work that you have to do, real kudos go to the guys and girls that stick it out as being sealers for the year.
If you spend a year there, it gives you a very different perspective on life, I think. It really changes you for the better.